Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Welcome to a new episode of today's Best Stock Picks. It is Tuesday morning, July 21st, 2020. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Hopefully you took advantage of yesterday. We had some really big winners yesterday. The community was just exploding with excitement yesterday. And I want to talk about, before we actually get into the stocks, is trading success happens when you're prepared. You are putting yourself in a position to be in the right stocks. And I get a lot of feedback, and especially a lot of emails in reference to the amount of work that goes into finding winning opportunities with consistency. I see a lot of new traders, especially coming with a really strong burning desire to succeed and willing to do whatever it takes to succeed. And that's admirable. That is absolutely required, because you need some persistence when you hit some roadblocks and that kind of stuff. But I want to tell you this. Capitalizing on days like yesterday, and I'm going to use this, please use this in context, making easy money by being in the right stocks requires first that you have an edge. I mean, it really comes down to this. A lot of mistakes that people make is that the market's doing one thing, but they want it to look a certain way, and then they try and fit the market into what they want to see. When you have an edge, which my edge is order flow, when you have an edge and you say, this is the only thing I'm looking for, then it's a lot less stressful when you're trading. You're not overwhelmed anymore, because now you're simply saying, okay, when I see that, I'm going to do something. When I don't see that, I'm going to stay away, because that means it's a low probability situation. The way I trade, the way we work in the boot camp, is essentially say, we're looking for that and only going to allocate capital when we see that. And yesterday, we had that distinction between certain situations where I'm constantly saying, preserve your capital. It's a little choppy right now. Preserve your capital, a little choppy right now. And then you get days like yesterday where what we're looking for is lining up and everything is still there. And some people were like, I want to book profits. I'm like, there's no reason to book a profit other than you have an itchy trigger finger, hold the trade. So as we do these videos together, hopefully you'll join me in the boot camp for at least 30 days. I want you to have that in the back of your mind, that profitable trading happens before the market opens. And what we're doing with these calls, what we're doing with these setups, there's a little bit of work that goes in to develop the edge. And then when you put the trades on, the edge is doing the work. It's up to you to only place trades that match the edge. And again, like I said before, that's where trading becomes a lot less stressful, because now you're not looking for everything, you're only looking for something. So when I make these calls, when I'm doing a market analysis, please keep in mind, it's in the context of I'm looking for certain things to happen. And then the more of those things that go into the argument, the greater the likelihood that the trade is going to be profitable, or I should say, at the very least, the trade justifies accepting risk because there's a good idea that it's going to follow through. So if you find these videos helpful, absolutely please click down and subscribe. That would mean the world to me, and you'll get updates. And now we're going to head over to the markets, excuse me, see some of the best trades that have come up. We have a lot of earnings today, which is very exciting too. That earnings volatility creates opportunity. Today there's a bunch of them. Tomorrow's Microsoft. We'll talk about that tomorrow morning. But now the market, the SPY specifically, seems like it's kind of catching up. What we're going to discover today was yesterday a one-hit wonder, or the fact that the European Union now came up with their own stimulus package, and we're talking about even more stimulus package from our side. Is that going to lift the market and take it all the way back up to all-time highs? And what does that mean for the individual indices? So let's hit the charts, and hopefully you took advantage of what we had out there yesterday, and let's see if we can do the same thing together today. So here's what we're talking about with the SPY. Obviously, the NASDAQ was already up at these levels, but now the SPY is actually at or near the breakout level, which was the rally off of March. And you can see up here the 340 area. Maybe let me just give you the kind of exact number. Just below 340 would be the next level, and we're really only a week or so away from that. The big thing we're going to be watching for today is if we punch through and stay through yesterday's high, which kind of opening neutral, even though the futures are actually up 26 points right now. We're definitely going to open up above that level unless something changes right now. Pre-market earnings today, we have Coca-Cola, Philip Morris, and Lockheed Martin. After hours, we have Texas Instruments, Snap, which is what we're going to talk about in a second, Capital One, and Ameritrade. So really the big play for today, to follow through on the theme of successful ideas, or ideas where you let the edge do the work. As long as we're above yesterday's high and outside of this range, we should be okay to continue to hold our trades long. We had a lot of questions yesterday in the boot camp, especially between 3 and 4 o'clock, about holding overnights versus last week. You can see last week we were mostly choppy, where we have what we call indecision days or melted candlesticks, and I was not recommending holding overnights. Yesterday, we had quite a few stocks that broke out, were what we call well bid and following through, including the SPY. But I think one of the biggest trades that we had yesterday was Spotify. If you were in the group yesterday, Spotify, Tesla, Amazon, Microsoft, just some amazing, amazing trades yesterday. And again, that's not an accident. It's because we're doing a good job of helping each other as a community. Also here in the YouTube, but if you want to take it further, obviously you can learn more about the community. But my point is this. Trading is easier when you're prepared. And hopefully in these videos, I'm showing you the beginner elements of what it means to be prepared and set up ideas. So obviously we're going to talk about Snap today. Snap has earnings. Today is after hours. The previous earnings were not awesome, but we seem to have this drift back up into the new rally, I guess, for what we're going to call it, off the lows. This company seems like they're getting their act together right now. Normally, you can get a feel for what's going to happen in the earnings just based on what the stock does. Are we going to sell the news or buy the news? And right now, we're not really rallying for the last month in this stock, so I don't really have an opinion, but I absolutely have a trade. Right now, it's between 23 and 25. And when the earnings come out, where they stay the next day after the earnings, which will be tomorrow morning, I am looking for it to either trade it aggressively long above 25. If it breaks down below 23, I'm letting it go. If it breaks above 25, you know, if you're a regular watcher of the channel, then I'm looking for follow through over the next few weeks, hopefully even over the next 3 months up until the month prior to the earnings coming out, kind of like we saw now where the last month has been a little choppy. So that's the strategy for Snap tomorrow. Earnings come out after the close, looking for it to get above 25, gets above 25, I'm looking for follow through. Some other stocks we have on the table. Hopefully you took advantage of this one as well yesterday. Again, we're doing the hard work for you. If you're not making what you should, there's just something that you're missing, right? So TWLO obviously had a monster day yesterday. This was also in the plan. Now I want to make it clear here. I'm not looking to swing trade this stock now that it's already gone $42 in 2 days. I am looking to actively day trade the stock, and then I'll be looking for another pause before I swing trade it. So if you're an active trader looking to buy it in the open and sell it on the close, the stock would match. I'm not looking for a new swing trade here, but I do love it today. Tesla, just amazing, amazing opportunity yesterday. And if you were watching us yesterday, we said this stock had 3 consecutive days of consolidation. We said when that happens, you tend to get trend days, which we also saw on Spotify. Again, really good work by our community setting these trades up. A big payday for a lot of people yesterday. This is different than the other stock. Yesterday was the first day breaking out. Today we're looking for some follow through. I'm going to aggressively trade that again as well. OSTK continues to be in the list every day. What I like about this stock is now we're punching through new levels that we couldn't get through. We're struggling in that 47, 48 level. It looks like 50, but that's not the real level. If you're really watching it every day, you know it's 47, 48. Again, I'm looking, this has to meet certain criteria for me to hold overnight. This is only the first couple of days of the breakout. A little bit different than the other stock that we were just looking at. I want to talk about a couple of stocks that I keep getting calls about. Number one is Zoom, and the other one is FSLY. Oops, excuse me, FSLY. I like both of these stocks long, but both of them had some aggressive selling when they pulled back. So I'm gonna tell you a little heads up on what we talk about in the community. In these particular 2 stocks, Zoom and Fastly, I'm going to be working my orders a little bit more conservatively than I would be in some of the other calls because these stocks had something different happen, and Match.com actually fits that criteria as well. The selling was vicious over here, so I'm not looking for an aggressive move back up. I do want the long. I am still looking for the long, but they're a different scenario, so I'm not going in full size. I'm not going to be a little more aggressive. I'm going to look to work the order. Remember, I talked about getting feedback from the market. The trade of the day for me personally yesterday, we've been waiting for LULU to finally get through 320. We had the alert set in the community. And then if you're watching it on an intraday basis, this is what we ended up finally getting, just intraday to get a head start on the trade. And again, one trade can pay for your entire month worth of making a living. Yesterday, it punched through. We're looking, it needs to hold above and get it back above yesterday's high in order for me to add to the position. Right now, I'm just hanging on to it. Still like the trade long. W is another one that's at or near sniffing all-time highs again. If you can see here, this is where we're at right now. So we like this one long as well. And what I like about this one is it kind of consolidated here for 2 weeks. We just need to get above that level. Adobe was not one in my list yesterday. A few people asking why not, and for the same reason I just mentioned about those other couple of stocks, including Match, Zoom, and Fastly, is there was some pretty heavy selling on a push lower and then 4 days of indecision. It's in the list today, wasn't in yesterday, and it's a little bit more of a swing trade for me. I'm not looking to day trade this stock. TAL is one that keeps popping up in the list, and now it's actually finally broken through 76. As long as this is above 76, I'm going to be looking to swing trade it. AMD, finally, we've been waiting for this stock going back to April. And inevitably, somebody keeps calling out this stock, and I want to point this out so it's very, very clear. Between this period in April and up until yesterday, it failed at $57 16 times. Now we're finally punching through that level. As long as it stays above yesterday's high, and specifically as long as it stays above 57, we're going to be looking for a new follow-through. The trade here is really simple. If you initiated a swing trade yesterday, fine. If you're looking to put on a new one today, also fine. If it trades and closes on the daily chart back below 57, get out. As long as it's above, you stay long. Same thing that we talked about in space last week. We traded the breakout. We said as long as it doesn't come back into the breakout and close back in the breakout, you're still going to hang on to the trade. Look, and here we're looking for 28. I want to mention a couple of stocks that are obviously in the news right now. NKLA got smashed yesterday. There's really no clean order flow. I want to make that distinction between trading the news and trading the charts. You're not trading the charts here. You're trading the news. If you're fast, if you make good decisions, actually the stock has some activity. Most people don't. AutoZone, obviously we brought this up yesterday. And again, we were very, very clear about mentioning what we were doing here. Fast trading the news, you need to make decisive decisions. If it pulled back on you and you froze, you got to reevaluate whether or not you can trade fast moving stocks in the news. Absolutely want to be involved in it if you are a good active trader who can make decisions and make decisions. You want to be paying attention to these stocks, but you still need for the stock to have criteria for whether or not you want to trade it or not. And if you wanted to buy this stock yesterday, that's the opening price. The stock was below the opening price the entire day. So where was the opportunity? There really wasn't one. We were looking over here to be long. We were waiting. It kept consolidating. We actually had a buy stop. I believe it was above 60 and never penetrated the high again. So we got long, came back, small profit, and then just let it go. So you need to make those kind of fast decisions. And obviously mRNA, another one that meets the same criteria. Look, the bottom line is these stocks are going to be in the list every day. They're in the news. COVID's in the news. Those stocks are related. Watch them, but only you can decide whether or not you have the decision-making capability and, quite honestly, the resources to want to be trading stocks that could move 15, 20% in one day. Amazing, amazing if they're obvious following through and you can make those decisions. If you're not quite at that level yet, don't feel like you're missing out. Don't have fear of missing out when it comes to trading. You should only be trading stocks that match your goals, your resources, and your risk tolerance, and then you can start attacking some of these other fast-moving stocks. And just because they're fast-moving, that doesn't mean they're great trading opportunities. Keep that in mind, too. All right, everybody, have a great day, and leave a feedback in the comment if you're sharing some success. I'd love to see it. I'd love to hear when other people are succeeding. So definitely click the channel to subscribe and click lower if you'd like to work together for the next 30 days. The boot camp's waiting for you. Have a great day.